leading the way women driving growth and success, bringing together accomplished women leaders who are making a significant impact among industries. Joining us are Anshita Mehrotra, founder Fix My Curls, Lakshmi Iyer, CEO Investment and Strategy, Kotak Alternate Asset Managers Limited, Neha Kant, founder and director, Clovia Lingerie, Shruthi Cauvery Iyer, founder, Caha Capital, and this session would be moderated by Nemesisa Ujjain, Dealflow Scouting, Hunch Ventures and Investment. Please come on the stage.
Good evening, everybody. I know it's been a long day for you, and thank you for TAI Delhi to have organized this very interesting session. And I'm sure you would have heard a lot of amazing women talking about the amazing stuff they are doing and how they are taking all of us forward by their efforts. I think this is the last session of the day, and we have a great panel, some amazing women who have again done so much as entrepreneurs, as women leaders, as overall leaders, I should say. So to start this session, I would ask them to do a round of introduction, and then we have some interesting questions that they will be answering, and we have this discussion plan for you where I hope you will get some good nuggets of wisdom from them. So let's start.
Thank you. Happy to go first. I'm Shruthi, and I'm the founder and managing partner of Vaya, which is a tech-enabled investment and sustainability advisory firm. I won't go too much into detail, but majority of our work is driven by institutional investor compliance and portfolio management on privates, which is mostly your unlisted startup sector. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Lakshmi. I've been with the Kotak group now for 25 years, so it's like a silver wedding. I got married to Kotak before I got married to my spouse. I eat, drink, and breathe finance, and I also eat food, and I also eat films, so it's finance, food, and films in that order. That really defined me as a person, but yes, I earn my salary because of finance. I'm part of Kotak Alternates, which is a 100% subsidiary of the bank, which is Kotak Mahindra Bank. And we manage funds from real estate to private credit to private equity to listed equity. So basically cutting across all genre of investments, not gold.
Hi everyone, my name is Anshita. I'm the founder of Fix My Curls. We're a wavy and curly hair care startup. So we basically sell hair care products. It's been 5 years. We're across 16 marketplaces and 10 countries at the moment.
Hi everyone, I'm Neha. I'm founder of Clovia Lingerie, but today we do much more than lingerie. We do a lot of performance-based garments as well, and sleepwear and personal care, intimate care. Basically all things intimate and trustful with women. May I just ask, I know the room is now only quarter full, but how many of you know Clovia? Okay, then our marketing rupees are well spent. So today we sell about a piece every second. So every time I'm saying hello, it's one girl finding her joy. It's been a 10-year journey, and about 3 years back, we also exited in the sense that the business was sold to Reliance. We continue to be in the management, but this journey is coming to a culmination finally.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nemesisa. I am representing Hunch Ventures and the Circle. So Hunch Ventures is a family office led by Karan Singh and Himangani Singh. And under the Circle, I have been running. So under the Circle, I've been running cross-border startup programs. Actually, I'm very happy to share that I have been part of the startup ecosystem in India since 2011. So, you know, from the first unicorn coming out in front of us, Flipkart, to now wherein, you know, we have 50% of startup registered under Startup India are led or co-led by women entrepreneurs. So have seen the entire ecosystem grow. And 5 years ago, I think, till 5 years ago, the conversation was about breaking barriers. But today it is about scaling businesses, leading from the front. And I think a lot of women, nearly 50% of the women today are doing that. So first question I would like this panel to answer is that each of you have built a remarkable career in diverse industries, from beauty, fashion, finance, to venture capital. But would you like to share a defining moment that shaped your leadership style and growth journey? Who would like to go first? Okay.
Okay. I think a moment that defined maybe my leadership was like last year we were chosen to be part of Spark, which is by Sequoia India, their third cohort. And there they teach you a lot about leadership. They ask you a lot of very important questions and they make you dream bigger as well. So, you know, if you're thinking of, oh, someday I'll do 50 crores, they say, okay, why not 1,000 crores? Like, why are you dreaming so small? So I think they ask you a lot of questions about the kind of leader you want to be and the kind of company you want to build. And I found that really helpful in my journey. Like after almost 4 years, someone finally asked me. And yeah, I think that was the moment for me. It was last year.
A pivotal moment, I think, in my journey, I would say was, sorry, I think I'm a very number revenue-led person. So I think for us, I remember when, you know, one of the co-founders wanted a Mac machine and we said, okay, the day we will hit 1 crore, we'll buy Mac. So thankfully we hit within 6 months. I mean, I still wonder how it happened, but we hit a crore mark within 6 months of launch of the business. And we only had 2,000-3,000 to go and celebrate, but we bought the Mac machine. I think that was one big mark. And then 100 crores was a big mark because at 100 crores we had decided now we have enough cash flows to invest in brand. And that's the day we started to think brand as well along with revenues.
So I'll tell you, you know, it's been 25 years plus being part of the financial services fraternity, and there have been multiple defining moments, but I'd say from a leadership standpoint, what really is that pivot or that turning point is how do you react or how do you act, not react, react is not the right word, in times of crisis. And I think for me, that has been, you know, multiple times, you know, the markets, you know, in Sita and Ramayana had to do Agni Pariksha just once, right? And maybe twice, and then she downed herself into below the earth. But in our lives, we have to be right there, firm-footed on the ground, because there is no place to hide. Like literally no place, you can't go hiding. So how do you really navigate the Agni Parikshas, and also more importantly, leading from the front and leading together? I think that was critical. So one such moment that comes to mind is COVID. When COVID hit the world, you know, I was busy planning my holiday because, you know, March is typically I start planning my May vacation just 50 or 60 days in advance. And like any other March, we were sitting on the drawing board trying to, you know, meet, greet and trying to plan. And then COVID hit. Everything else became history. But why I'm sharing this, you know, incident with you is from a financial services perspective. It was about existence, very similar to, I don't know, it's very financial world thing, but I don't know how many of you know that in 2008, Lehman, just before 2008, September, Lehman was part of the global map of the financial world till September 2008 happened, and then suddenly that name just vanished. So when 2020 COVID hit, and there were a couple of other incidents in the, you know, the mutual fund industry. I was with Kotak AMC, then I moved to Kotak Alternates just 2.5 years back. There was a crisis of confidence because you're working from home, you don't know how things are going to move on, and you're managing like huge sizes, like $20-30 billion worth of money for lakhs and, you know, millions of investors. At that point in time, there were two attacks. As I say, surgical strike. There was a fund house which actually gated funds. You know, they stopped. So if you put money into a fund house, that fund house actually stops from, you from taking out money from their funds. And 7 of their funds, we call it gating. And that created a panic scenario across the industry. And imagine we're sitting at home, it's just like day 5, day 10, you're sitting at home and you have to navigate the markets, you have to make sure everything there is calm, and you have to do media management, because at that point in time, no CIO, I was the chief investment officer there, I've moved into CEO in Kotak Alternates, but at that point in time, and 5 years back, it was crazy, chaos on the street, blood in the markets, what do you do? And I think that was a turning point for 2 things. One is, not a single day of redemption was missed because there was no problem with our fund house. But the issue is that, one grape is sour, you kind of tend to render the entire basket of grapes sour. So I think at that point in time, when your chairman stroke founder calls and tells you after the entire dust of the storm is settled that you truly are a Jhansi ki Rani. When that comes about, I think more than the external accolades, I think that was a turning point, because in money management, the key mantra is you're managing the trust of lakhs of investors.
Yeah, and
Very
I
critical.
think women get less chances, and you have to be the Jhansi ki Rani at that time. You can't go wrong. I think that is unfortunately one of the things that we see around us. The panel earlier also shared that people are more judgmental when it comes to women. So I think...
and the only woman, by the way, in the room who was navigating through this entire
Wow.
thing. That's like a high for a teetotaler, right? How else you get your high?
Kudos to you. So Shruthi, would you like to share?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm a third-time entrepreneur, and I've had my share of Agnipat. It's kind of strange. I still haven't perished, but I would say there's been 2 or 3. But like Lakshmi said, it's in the crisis times that you really know if you have what it takes to just survive and wake up and see another day. So my first firm was actually a commodities trading firm, and I did physical commodities. And because I was a small-time trader, I had to sort of bankroll everything, even though there's something called LCs and stuff, which I won't get into. And there was one incident where there was the shipment carrying my entire net worth, and it sank, and there was no insurance, literally. And I was living in Southeast Asia, and I had about 60 people on payroll, and I just did not know what was going to happen. And I was 26 years old. I eventually, somehow insurance came through after a couple of months of being broke and whatnot. But that moment taught me a lot about just understanding how to manage distress as an entrepreneur in those times. And a lot of my entrepreneurial journey, I think today, is shaped by having run a very hardcore business. And it was it has had nothing to do with being a woman or, being Indian or being in another country. It was just a valuable lesson which has helped shape me. My second venture was an e-commerce venture. I sold the business, went to business school, policy school in the US. And it gave me like a lot in terms of being able to facilitate a great lifestyle. But when I shut down that second venture, again, all these pangs, and you wonder if you'll ever start another business which you will love so much. And luckily today I have that third business, which I keep telling everyone I'm going to run till the day I die, or until I get really tired. So I guess the journey never ends, and whatever is an ending is the beginning of something new. Yeah.
Great. So I think, in the times of crisis, you actually find your real ground and prove your mettle. And sometimes they say that, your real character comes through, and then that shapes the rest of your journey. So great journey. Next, my question is for the entrepreneurs here. Two entrepreneurs we have, and three. You're an entrepreneur and also from the venture studio side, right? Yeah, so we are considering in the finance side for now. Okay, so my question to Anshita and Neha, that both of your companies have disrupted industries with fresh consumer-driven brands. So what shift in consumer behavior you think have fueled your success, and how did you capitalize on them?
So I think for me, we were the ones to fuel the change in our consumers, because we had to first show them that, hey, if this is your hair type, it's not necessarily a problem. And the play on the word for us was always fix, because people always tell you to go fix your hair, especially if you have curly hair. They want you to immediately go straighten it because there's no other way. But then, I had to sit down and sort of think about how can I teach other people what I've learned. And the only way is to show them the glamorous side of having curly hair. And so for years, we've been doing that. And it is the only way to teach an audience like the Indian audience that you can accept something that isn't what you've been seeing in pop culture or movies or cinema for like the last 20 years. You can accept something new. So I think we've actually had to bring about the change in our consumers. It definitely didn't happen as a result of the industry. We were 5 years too early, and even today investors think we're early, but I think the earlier the better, so yeah.
So, it's interesting if I compare her business to my journey, because Clovia is now a 10-year-old brand. When we launched, WhatsApp was basic texting service. I don't think you could call also at that time. There was no Instagram, no influencer, no creators. I think the first influencer advertising we did was Vijay Anusha agreeing to put her hand next to our Clovia box and post it on Twitter. That was the extent of social media. The web publishers we used at that time to advertise they folded actually and gone home. So it was a very different time. She said she gets told that you are ahead of time. I think I heard it so much. Not so much about ahead of time, but it's a latent demand. Who cares what kind of underwear you wear? People wear holy underwear with holes all the time. My mother would say, I buy 4, 2 this year, 2 next year, and then 2. So this is how I would, and that was the truth. And women largely in India spent not more than 150, 200 rupees on their underwear. And that was the problem we had. Of course, there's always that one person, not even one person actually, because back then there weren't as many of us earning our own money. So that has also been the journey. The macros have also supported us. But I would say from brand perspective, of course, from revenue perspective, we did a lot of things to drive initial cash flows. I also became a mother at the same time. So I remember going to these TV shopping networks and selling shapewear, saying, "Pehle main itni moti hoti thi, dekho ye," showing with measuring tape. And one time I remember on live TV, somehow the calculation showed that I'm now 1 inch broader. So that also happened on the TV, on live TV. So we did all that. But like I said, at 100 crore mark, when we decided to think about brand, and till that time we had done many things we thought sensual, we thought comfort, cotton, function, utility, we tried everything. And then we thought, as you would learn, organizations and brands take our own personalities. There is such a close mapping that when you look back and you realize not just the brand, even your organization has started to mirror your own personality. And at that time we thought ki karna kya hai, and we thought kaam wahi karenge jisme khushi ho, and we decided joy to be the keyword for our brand. Our brand needs to deliver happiness and stand for happiness. Everybody who's working in Clovia should feel happy. The staff at the store, the person on the factory floor, the girl who's receiving our box. And from that day onwards, our game changed. I mean, that was quite an inflection point. It took some time for us to arrive there. But once we arrived, we stopped talking about function, cotton, comfort, value. Wo sab tha. Basic hygiene was always there. But the moment we created this whole aura, this whole fun vibe around Clovia, women started to react to us. Earlier, it was just about 100 rupees mein what you can get, 400 mein 4, 800 mein whatever. Then suddenly, we were now part of her dreams, her aspirations. We were interacting. Women like beautiful things. We don't live like men, like assembly line products. That whole thing started to connect, and I think that's what worked with us.
Wow. I mean, when you hear these anecdotes, you realize what what an exciting life an entrepreneur has. The lows are very low, the highs are pretty high. And I think I'll quickly top this up with one more question, that you have seen that digital evolve from 10 years ago to now. So how do you think that has helped the brand grow?
Yes, so digital, because we went digital first, it made sense for us because we wanted women's feedback on what fits to launch. That was a whole part of solving the problem. So like I said, we started from advertising on Times of India websites, India Times and all. Facebook was also very limited, and we had to do proxy advertising like alcohol advertising. We had to show nightwear, night suits, and then people will land and they will see bras out there. So we did all that, but I think digital advertising today has evolved quite a bit, and there's a very good blend of brand and performance marketing that's happening out there. And digital today is as strong a medium to put your brand out as your traditional mediums like TV and so on.
Yeah, my next question is to Shruthi. Shruthi, you are an entrepreneur, but you're also running your own venture studio. So specifically for women entrepreneurs, do you have any strategies that you would like to share? Okay, we are out of time, but I hope we can continue for a few more minutes. So yeah, any strategies for fundraising and shaping their finances that you'd like to share?
Thanks. I think I was in another panel just a couple of weeks ago, and what has worked for me is I don't really think that I'm a man or a woman, and because I feel like sometimes it can be a self-limiting bias to be like, oh, I'm a woman going into this room, and maybe they don't see me as an equal, or maybe they don't see me as they would see a man. So luckily for me, because my first business was very like, there were only men everywhere, I'm kind of used to that. And I think it's helped me. Because in the rare situation where I felt like I was a minority in the room, it's not really worked in my favor, because I feel like your confidence kind of takes a hit, or you're kind of feeling bizarre a little bit, and that's never good if you're fundraising. That's never good when you're trying to tell people you're doing a great business and asking them to believe in you. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I think this is what I've heard a lot in the ecosystem, that you start as women entrepreneurs, but eventually you are an entrepreneur. So that's the reality. My quick question to Shruthi is that, banking, finances, very male dominated. Did you face any issues in the boardroom, in big important meetings while you were presenting or leading it?
See, I'll tell you anything, if I write 6 here across the table and you're reading it there, you'll read it as 9. So, there is a boon and a bane for everything. I always thought that being in minority should be seen as a boon, because the tendency to get heard is much more. When I started my career back in 2000, I was the only woman in the boardroom. And today also that scenario has not really much changed. But then, I completely concur with Shruti. When a profession is completely male agnostic, and that's how it should be, any profession, any passion that you pursue is agnostic of what gender you belong to. And I think, to validate that, if you actually Google through the top chefs in the country, even top 5 name will not have a woman. When people say that, men are confined to the boardroom and women are confined to the kitchen, I'd urge everyone to go, and especially the men, to go and read through that. Whereas if you Google the top sports person in the country, in top 5 you'll have at least 2 or 3 women. So the akhadas, or the cricket ground, or the hockey, floor is also for women. So I'd say it's about what mindset you go in. Yeah, initially it could be intimidating. I mean, 25 years back, you're way less mature, way more intimidated by what comes your way. You're amateurish. All of that is true. But I think it's all about tuning your mind, training your mind, and telling yourself that you are here because you wanted to be. There were moments of self-doubt. I'll tell you, it's not, there is, every rose has a thorn, every fool has a kata. So there is fool or kate in our lives. But the point is that you have to overlook those thorns, and still you gift a bouquet of roses, right? You don't gift a book of thorns. I think that's so critical. So I think conquering that mindset was the most important thing, and that's the reason I'm still here.
Wow. I hope the shift happens faster, though. Last question, is that okay? Last question to Anshita, because she is the youngest over here, and she started very young. I think she was in her teens when she started. So what was your motivation, and what made you start this?
Well, I wasn't very good at studies, so I think my motivation was I have to make something work if I am going to drop out of college. So, no, I mean, it was sort of an end-all, be-all situation where I had already dropped out and like pretty much announced to all my friends and family that this is what I'm doing. So I was also in the headspace of, no, I have to make it work, it will do good. And it wasn't really from the perspective of revenue, it was more from the perspective of community building. I wanted to be like a change maker in personal care, specifically in hair. So I think once that started happening, you know, it worked out. But
And do you have any advice for all the Gen Zs out there if they want to start?
Advice, well, grit, have grit. You do have to work really hard, even though you have Instagram and barely any barriers to entry today to start a business. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. So please stick to it. Okay.
But I have a Bollywood message to all the women entrepreneurs out there, and that is, and I was, when you asked her this, I just kind of made it up in my mind, and it goes like, dear queen, okay, be the dream girl, and there will be a lot of dangals in your life, and lage raho is going to be the mantra, and then the world will tell you chak de.
Did you make it up right now?
How can I rehearse it and come? No chance.
Amazing. Neha, any last thoughts that you would like to share? Any advice?
Fortune favors the brave. I think, like she said, truly Lakshmi Bai. Yeah, I think if you're brave enough to just get out there, today I think world is kinder to women. If you break that glass ceiling once, the world is going to push you up. That's for sure. That's what I experienced. It's only till that point that you have to work really hard. Then you get exponential returns. I think you get a little bit more advantage also, but reach there first.
Good to have that advantage. And Shruthi, last sentence. Any advice?
I think just lead with confidence, and what you feel on the inside, you'll start seeing it on the outside.
Great. So I think, yeah, the message is let's be audacious, let's try more things. These women here are doing it. I'm sure a lot of them earlier today shared their journeys. The world is becoming better for us, and hopefully with the support of organizations like TIE, we will do way more in the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I would like to recall upon stage Shaila Prabhu, Associate Director, TIE Delhi-NCR, to give the speaker mementos. Now up next, we have our closing keynote session, Moving Million to Unlock the Next Trillion. We would like to welcome our keynote speaker, Ms. Seema Chaturvedi.